welcome. Happy Easter to everyone who celebrates Easter, and so happy on this fine day. Now, you are listening to Bras Panties and Sports. I'm Spitface. I'm here with the always classy and sometimes sassy host of this show, the First Lady of Sports Talk, the one and only Cheryl Smith. Happy Easter to you.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Easter to you. And blessed the Lord.
All right. First thing sounds like she might have been up a little late watching Gonzaga and UCLA and some other stuff there.
One thing, I didn't have a night like Paul Pierce, but we can talk about that later, but I don't know. I don't know if you heard about that situation.
Sound like a TMZ moment.
Oh, well. He called himself going live. Ooh, he may be live out of a job from ESPN.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to our show.
Well, all right. Check out the music this week on Shout Out. We are featuring performances from Bassmanegg. Will they find their shining star? Get the cold feel of the mute button. First Lady, we're ready. What you saying?
Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdies known as the Houston Cougars wish they could fly far, far away from the beatdown handed to them by the Baylor Bears. Instead of Phi Slamma Jamma, did we get Phi Slamma overrated? Are the Baylor Bears the most formidable opponent Gonzaga will face? Can Baylor's two guards be stopped? Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Well, yeah, that game was good. I mean, what can we say? I mean, Gonzaga, man, I have to tell you, that was some ending to that game last night. But we're talking about the Houston Cougars, whether or not they are Phi Slamma overrated. No, they're not Phi Slamma overrated. The Houston Cougars deserve to be in this game. I mean, before the game against Baylor, Houston was ruthless. You know, they were very efficient on both ends of the floor. The Cougars are one of the 4 teams in the country to be ranked in the top 10 in both offense and defense. Now, that's pretty good. That's a two-way team. They score 118.6 points per 100 possession. That was 7th in the nation. Allowed us 88.4 points per 100 possession. And that's, again, really very, very good. I mean, what can you say? I mean, it's that team is excellent. But unfortunately, the Houston Cougars were overwhelmed by the powerhouse of Baylor Bears. I mean, the Cougars, could have reached the national championship game for the 3rd time in the program history. It's been 36 years since the real Phi Slamma Jamma, the Hakeem Olajuwon era. Can you believe that? 36 years. That was in 1984 when they went to the Final Four. I mean, I was just coming out of college, graduated from college in 1984. But unfortunately, they got beaten by the Patrick Ewing and Georgetown. And then the year before that, in 1983, that was probably the most famous upset in NCAA tournament history. Jim Valvano, rest in peace. But he and the North Carolina State They won on a buzzer-beating dunk, and that that upset was big. That was probably, like I said, one of the biggest upsets in NCAA history. But Gonzaga and Baylor, they have dominated this season. So to me, it was no surprise that they are in the championship game, and I believe Baylor will definitely be a formidable opponent for the Gonzaga team, because you want to know something? Gonzaga and the Baylor Bears were ranked number 1 and 2 pretty much the entire season in the polls. And Gonzaga is attempting to become the first Division I team to go undefeated and win an NCAA tournament since the 1976 Indiana Hoosiers. When they won, and they went undefeated. Now, Baylor Bears have never won a men's basketball championship, NCAA basketball championship. So with all these milestones at stake, this will definitely be a must-see game. And what can you say? It's going to be a must-see game. Now, the guards for the Baylor Bears, hey, what can you say? They are great. And you said it's 2 guards. Actually, it's not really 2 guards. It's 3 guards. It's a 3-headed animal. You got Maceo Teague, Jared Butler, and Davion Mitchell.
I left somebody out.
They are top-notch. You hear me? Top-notch. Do you believe the Bears are 48-6 in 2 seasons when Mitchell and Teague joined to play on the team? Because I think they both were red-shirted and they couldn't play. And Butler, he's the first player in Bears history, to be first team AP All-American. So we say those 3 guards can really play, and they are guard-oriented offense. So the way for Gonzaga to beat them, they got to stop those 3 guards. Can they stop the 3 guards? We'll find out. But it's definitely going to be a great game because, like I said, Baylor have those guards, and then, Gonzaga, they can score. They got, I think his name is Timmy. They got more depth in the front court, and we'll see. So it's going to, Gonzaga plays with their big center, and they get the ball down low, whereas the Bears, they ride the coattails of those 3 guards. So it's going to be interesting, very interesting to see who's going to win this game. But to be honest with you, these are the 2 best teams. So we're getting the best. We're getting the best. Even though Gonzaga almost lost to UCLA, it took a miracle shot from Jalen Suggs for them to win that game, but for Gonzaga. But we'll see how it goes. All right, Spitface, what are you saying about this?
First Lady, I had digressed for a second to look at Paul Pierce drunk and surrounded by strippers. And
I told you it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess.
And
plain poker too.
Right now, let me go back to the Baylor Bears and Gonzaga, and now I'm here in Houston. So you know that there are Houston fans who are, heartbroken, but I think a lot of Houston fans, they really, 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 really overrated the Cougars. I'm not saying that to take away from the Cougs. They were competitive. They were some. I put it like this: they were some bad slammer jam. They were good, but they just were not. They just didn't have it, and it showed up to beat a Baylor and not a Gonzaga either. So, they did great getting to the Final Four. Houston fans, don't sit around licking your wounds like the team, like they lost. They lost 1 game, but they made it to the Final Four. When was the last time the Cougs made it to the Final Four? It's been a while. Now, Houston fans, the future is bright If you a Coug fan, it looks like the program is in the right direction, and maybe competitive for a while. So quit tripping. Now, Gonzaga, First Lady, it looks like it's time folks gonna be putting on their big boy pants. Because Baylor ain't no joke. And talk about, and I don't know if Gonzaga is going to come loaded for Bear, but they better, because they're messing around being a hornet's nest. These boys is coming to play. So it's sort of, it's one of those things where, like, you got Gonzaga. They could be undefeated. Like I said, that so many records could happen. Baylor's never won one. And it's sort of like, as just a pure fan, who do you want to root for? Now, growing up in Chicago, I always root for the underdog. Because given my teams have always been well, there have been times my teams have been the underdog, and then there's times they've just been under. Just under. And we had this spot, sort of like a Knicks fan. There's when the team was an underdog, then they were just under. Like, hey, But I do think that they were slightly overrated, just a tad bit, mainly by the Houston fans. But hey, we in for a good NCAA championship. And I'm looking forward, First Lady. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, hey, you thought the Houston Cougars are overrated? I don't think so.
I said slightly by the Houston fans.
Slightly. No, I don't think they were overrated. They deserve to be there, but that's neither here nor there. They're not in the championship game, but they almost did it. And they got to. I mean, they haven't been relevant for a while, but so they've gotten relevant this year. So, but anyway, Spitface, over to you.
I'm still wondering about my man Paul Pierce. I guess you can take the kid. I don't know. All right, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my Pierce and pulling suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering over the competition. I'm towering, wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that'll all get sliced and diced. Competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out, Mama said knock you out, We are talking about the knockout punch, the Major League Baseball having the All-Star game in Georgia. A group of white male Republican officials stand in front of a picture of a plantation and sign a bill stripping voter rights and protections from the citizens of their state, specifically black and brown citizens. While a state representative, woman, happened to be black, knocks at the door of the governor and is dragged away, arrested. The arresting officer says he had visions of January 6th. And it is just, but I digress. Is the MLB making sure they are on the right side of history? Are the two big lies, Trump and voter fraud, and the Republicans care about our democracy? Are there two big lies? The foundation of sports is fair play. How you play the game. Pride, whether you win or lose. Are the Republicans fundamentally a party that ran out of ideas so they can only find ways to cheat to win elections? Leroy, Satchel Paige, Walter Buck Leonard, and James Papa Bell ask him, what you saying? As the state representative was being dragged away, and the officer was discussing how he all of a sudden had visions, flashback. I think he had PSTD or something, but of the trauma from the January 6th insurrection. And why I bring that up is that a lone woman, black woman, a lone black woman. Now, ladies, whether you black, white, brown, whatever, I knew black women were powerful. I just wasn't aware how threatening y'all were, First Lady. I didn't realize, I've been around y'all all my lives. I didn't realize how threatening. I didn't know I should be afeared of a black woman, and she wasn't even angry. So, because she's knocking on the door. And she's knocking on the door because they are stripping people of their right to vote. She's knocking on the door. And he was visions of January 6th. And he, and I'm like, so a single black woman can knock on the door is equal to thousands of white people kicking down the door. Interesting perception. But, Major League Baseball, they said, hell, we know that Coca-Cola and Delta was slow to the gun. We pulled that trigger back. We got all these black and brown players in our league, not only on the field, but through management, executive, hell to the no. We're going to be on the right side. Nope, we pulling this sucker out. We know that there are plenty of other places we can play a game. And we don't have to mess around with antics with Georgia and coming up to a decision. And asking them brothers, them CEOs of those big corporations that I'll just say some black folks are the CEOs, and they came out, and now these other ones are, hey, thank you. And, it's amazing how the lie, as they say, the big lie is, let's distract you with stuff that ain't real because you ain't got no ideas how to fix something that is real. Because, now, you can't tax cut your way to building bridges, for some reason, or trying to figure out how, we need the bridge, but how we going to make the little guy pay for it so the big guy can keep his money. So, First Lady, the thing about sports, now there have been discrimination in sports, but eventually there's a time where talent, the best players, the best player, you get a Tiger Woods, you get a Jackie Robinson, you get people who their talent is just so overwhelming that it equalizes and the field becomes, a fair field to play on. So, First Lady, what you say?
Well, kudos to Major League Baseball. They definitely want to be on the right side of history. And actually, it's very surprising that they took this stance because usually Major League Baseball is very, very conservative. But like you said, Spitface, when you're talking about money, the Major League Baseball not crazy. They know they need those major corporations. So when they definitely came out and did not support these laws in Georgia, Major League Baseball, they hopped on that train. They said, oh, no, we're not going to have the All-Star game there. And also, they were supposed to be honoring Hank Aaron. And even though Hank Aaron played in Atlanta, but, Hank Aaron stood for voters' rights and all of that. So, a lot of people didn't realize how he was a pioneer in the civil rights movement. So they said, oh, no, we could not dishonor Hank Aaron that way by allowing this to happen, even though, Atlanta is his home, But, hey, what can you do? And, they weren't the only ones. There's been so many, like the NBA, they removed All-Star games, you remember, from Charlotte, North Carolina, because of the anti-transgender laws that they put into law regarding using the public restrooms. And if you remember, a long time ago, the NFL did not have the Super Bowl in Arizona because they did not want to honor Martin Luther King Day. So sports has always been mixed in politics, if you don't believe it or not. You want to go back to Colin Kaepernick and thinking that was like the first time that people were involved, sports were involved with politics. No, it's always been involved with politics. And but I salute Major League Baseball. And now, producers, I just got one little thing to say. I'm tired discussing the Republicans, the lies, and Donald Trump. Okay? I'm tired. I thought with Donald Trump went out of office, I wouldn't have to discuss his name again. But anyway, these Republicans are securing their future, for many presidential elections. They, in Georgia, they created these racist laws because they don't think they can win the election. I mean, when they lost that election in Georgia, that really just just shocked them. And to be honest, it shocked everybody in the United States because it's such a red state, and they don't even know how it be turned blue. It was a long time ago the last time it turned blue. That was when Clinton was in office. But I just think, they just needed to create all of these voter suppression laws in Georgia so they can win. And that was very sinful of the young lady that they just usher out of that, trying to usher her out of that meeting. And all you can remember is the insurrectionists, and not only that, you can remember the people that came to Michigan with their guns. You remember they was in Michigan at their city hall with their guns. Nobody ushered them out. So it's always a double standard when it comes to black people. Always will be. I don't know in my lifetime if it's ever going to change, but hopefully it will change. And like I said, producers, let's move on. That's all I'm saying.
All right, okay, First Lady. Yeah, but remember, they're trying to pass the laws in Florida and Texas. And
they got 28 states.
Yeah,
a whole bunch of states.
Yeah, so hey, but but just to wrap this up, if they had ideas that people actually wanted, then they might be competitive. But First Lady, please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, the funnies and our favorite underwater friend on Flip It Part 2. Yeah, Paul Pierce, you better be answering to those ESPs.
We're going to Flip It Part 2. We haven't had Flip It Part 1.
Oh, excuse me. I am so sorry. Stay tuned.
Maybe just a minute. What they put in my coffee? I'm missing the whole segment of the show.
I'm so sorry about that. Anyway, stay tuned. Up next, Flip It Part 1.
The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout-out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Bassmanegg.
On Shout-Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout-out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. Today we are featuring the music from Bassmanegg, a 6-piece band from Washington, D.C. area that combines funk, jazz, and R&B grooves with melodic vocals and smooth sax lines, characterized by drum and bass-driven grooves, venturing frequently into progressive and Latin jazz rhythms. Okay, that's a lot. That's a mouthful of what this group can do. I guess they're not into that go-go music into Washington, D.C. But anyway, let's hear the star of the story. Okay. That was Bassmanegg. Okay, so I see why they have all those different mixture of genres mixed together, and I'm definitely going to shout it out. I mean, that was a song. I can't remember who sang that song originally.
Heat Wave.
Heat Wave. Okay. Wow. The Heat Wave went the one hit wonder, right? They had what?
Heat Wave had a whole bunch of hits.
No, they had a whole bunch of hits from that one album. I believe they may have only did 2. I only think they only did 2 albums, and you remember they did 3
albums, and their first 2 albums were hits.
Okay.
And
but I think what happened, they are unsung. The lead singer the lead singer had an accident. Yeah. But Heat Wave was the bomb.
And he was the writer too.
Yeah, Heat Wave was the bomb. Okay, I just remember them only having one. That first album was that first album was the bomb. It's still good today. Anyway, but I'm shouting out Bassmanegg. I enjoyed the percussions, the music, the singing, everything was on point, and I'm going to shout them out. Spitface, you shouting out or you're hitting the mute button?
I got to shout them out. I thought it was a good remake, and I thought one of the things that really just stood out was the fact that was the singer. She wasn't overpowering. And she fit right on in. But she kind of reminded me, a little bit of the singer for the Crusaders in is it Nightlight? I forget the name of the song.
Oh, I know it's the night. Yeah, that's what's her name?
Yeah,
she went on her own.
She went
on her own. Oh, I can't.
Yeah, it reminded me of her, and I can't think of her name at the moment. But I'm shouting it out, First Lady. I'm shouting it out.
Okay, all right. Well, on part 2 of Shout Out, we'll have another performance from Bassmanegg, and I'm quite sure they'll be just as good as they were in part 1. Is that the sound of our favorite underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It?
And we know Flipper lives in a world full of wonders, lying there under the sea.
All right. First Lady, I stand corrected. The production assistants got me they acted swift this morning, so I think they got up for that Easter egg hunt we had. And Rod Temperton was not the one who had the accident. It was the lead singer who sang falsetto. He had a car accident and lost both legs. Either way, it was tragic. It was tragic.
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And it was Randy Crawford. That's the lead singer.
Oh, that was Randy Crawford. Yeah, that was
Randy Crawford.
What a
She's
bad
the lead singer for Crusaders. Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. And all right. But look, it is time for Flip It. While host defender pointed and flip the script and defend the opposing view. First Lady, Deshaun Watson is now the subject of a criminal complaint and investigation, according to the Houston police. Given the allegations, regardless of any criminal liability, should the NFL suspend Watson? Defend. Where there is smoke, there is fire, and this is a roaring volcano. The NFL has enough to suspend. And, First Lady, there are times when you make the obligatory, we want to see what the justice system says. And then there's a point where your own internal investigation is telling you how this thing is going. And, right now, without the criminal liability. I just say no criminal liability, just with the number of complaints. I mean, this is, I put it like this. I'm not saying that that he violated any law, but you know how, like, you can, I put it like this, how someone can play with fire, be right on that edge, and if you always playing with fire, always on that edge, sooner or later you're going to get burned. Sooner or later you're going to cross the line. If you are treating women in a despicable way, you're going to cross the line sooner or later. And as much as I want to, my natural tendency is, hey, the brother, might be getting, overwhelmed with something. I have to go with the rule of is that now one woman is too many. But one woman, you go, okay, well, let's get all the facts. But when it starts being multiple, it's like, wait just a minute. Okay, you need to be put on pause. And now Deshaun is not the governor of New York. He's not Representative Gates. He is a NFL football player. Okay? And in many ways, while politicians do what they do and things happen, the NFL has the NFL commissioner. And right now, as much as I, want to, say, get a brother a chance, whatever, no. The commission got to step up and say, look, men, we just, if we get whiffs that it's this way, that's enough for us to act. That's all I'm saying, First Lady. Defend.
Well, we initially discussed this situation, and I really believed in Deshaun Watson. However, like you said, there's just too many women coming out. I mean, it's the reality of it. It's just too many of them coming out. But really what really did it for me that maybe the commissioner needs to step in and suspend Deshaun is because a therapist came out stating that he sexually assaulted her in March of this year. And this was after he was contacted by the lawyer in February. Now, that's definitely fire. I don't care what you say about anything, that's definitely fire in this situation. And especially now also because the Houston police, they have opened up a criminal investigation on Deshaun Watson. It's really becoming a big problem for Deshaun Watson. I mean, we were wondering and worrying, like, where was he going to be traded to? Because, where was he going to be traded? I mean, Spitface at this point in time, I wonder if he's going to even be playing this season with all these accusations because, I mean, what type of suspension can the commissioner give him? I mean, I don't think we recently had anybody with this many accusations of a football player while he's actively playing. I mean, a lot of things that happen when people have been, away from football. But we have a lot of issues with players, but I can't think of any player with this type of accusation. I want to think there was a quarterback. Was it Steve McNair or Warren Moon? You remember one of them had some accusations? I can't remember who it was right now, but I just don't remember this many people coming out saying that this NFL player has committed these type of offenses. It's unbelievable. So I mean, the commissioner, he really will have to come out and put the hammer down on Deshaun. And this situation is looking like Deshaun's football career will go up in flames. Damn. That's all I'm saying, Spitface.
All right. His career could erupt. Oh, no, and not the right way. All right, let's defend. They need to wait and make sure the punishment fits. If the punishment is required. This is America, even if the Republicans don't act like it. Let's defend. You know, one of the things is that the NFL can go ahead and dole out a punishment any time they feel that it's right. And right now, they're playing the delicate balance called if we go ahead and suspend him, okay, that could impact his legal standing. And, you know, and unfairly, it could impact it unfairly. Where, you know, hey, if he does have to go to a trial, you know, they'll be, hey, look, even the NFL said so. They don't want to put a player in that kind of position. And where they're having to defend themselves, and now there's a perception of guilt because the NFL said that your behavior, okay, ranked a suspension. But doing that right now is going to impact your criminal liability. And before we, better to let it play out. Now, if he's charged, okay, then the NFL goes, hey, look, now you got charged. We suspended you. But right now he's not charged with anything. He's just under the investigation. So they need to wait and see what happens in the law side before any suspension and continue their investigation. Now, my only thing, you know, and I just want to put this out here. Deshaun, do not do a Michael Vick. Do not lie. That's what I'm saying. Bottom line is, do not lie. Be straight with the NFL. Be straight with the youth, with the Texans, because it will be your career if you are not. Arthur Blank, you know, Atlanta Falcons. The thing that Arthur Blank got what? Tall billions. You know, he got tall, but my man he had tall billions back then. So he got more tall billions today. Michael Vick says, Arthur Blank, look, I know this is stupid, but look, I'm a country boy. We do this dog thing, and man, I did not get how this is, you know, how it would impact, and I don't know what to do. Arthur Blank would have said, Michael, my man, I got you. You know, that's the situation. We're going to get the right lawyers for you. But he lied. And Arthur Blank said, that I can't, you know. Deshaun, don't lie. You know, because there is a difference between, I'll put it like this, despicable behavior and breaking the law. First Lady, defend.
Well, in regards to the NFL, I do agree. They will wait until the criminal investigation plays out. You know, if it was just a civil lawsuit, then the NFL probably would have come out and make a determination from their own investigation. However, now that there is a criminal investigation, the commissioner needs to slow down. And like you said, Spitface, you don't want to affect the investigation or the legal proceedings. Now, the commissioner still needs to start an NFL investigation. I believe they need to do that just to get out in front of it, and but not provide their results, because this is going to be a very lengthy process. So they really need to start it right now. Because I'm quite sure all eyes are looking at the commissioner right now, and they want to know what's going on. Now, once you have a criminal investigation, for the most part, the NFL really had waited until the criminal part was determined, because if you remember, they suspended Antonio Brown because of his behavior and some things he did. But you remember, he has a current charge for sexual assault also. he has two of them, and they have not resolved that issue. And that's the reason why Antonio Brown was able to play in the Super Bowl, even though he was suspended. But he was not suspended because of the sexual assault situation. He was suspended because of this craziness stuff that he was doing, online and everything else. So, Deshaun Watson is not like in the same category as Antonio Brown because, he definitely has been on the up and up. He's been a great character NFL player. So this is the reason why the commissioner needs to slow it down, give Deshaun the benefit of the doubt, even though it's not looking good. But I still think they need to start their investigation, but just do not give any results until after the criminal investigation is over. But, I know the commissioner, he's tired of these type of investigations. It seems like every once in a while you always got an NFL player in this situation. So he's acting like he's a judge all of a sudden. You had to start calling him instead of commission, we call him the judge. Here comes the judge.
Yeah, he might get his own show. At the rate, like you said, at the rate he going, he might as well. Hey, NFL court. Because, man, I'm like, and, First Lady, there is things are a reflection, but as I say, sports and the athletes, they're a reflection of society. They didn't grow up in a silo. And I'll say that Deshaun got a mama, and there are too many men who, I'll just feel like there are too many men who have a warped view of women and their sex, and I don't mean the women, I mean the guys, and an awareness of sexuality. They really don't. They have a misguided concept that, that has no basis in reality. And like I said, they got mamas. Would you want your mother to know that that's your behavior? Like I said, that, they say integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's watching. And this is a reflection of too many men learning the wrong things about women and sexuality and their sexuality. So, Deshaun, I pray for you, brother. But First Lady, please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, the funnies and our favorite underwater Flynn, now on Flip It Part 2. Welcome back. You are still listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's time for the funnies. Spitface, over to you.
All right, First Lady. And now, the First Lady and I are big fans of Dumb Criminals. So the production crew wanted to give us an Easter treat, First Lady.
Okay.
All right. And when they start out with dude, dude posts whereabouts on Snapchat. If you think criminals prefer Facebook, though, you're sadly mistaken. A burglar from Maine named Christopher Wallace is a big fan of Snapchat, so big that he decided to reveal his hiding spot there. After he stole a propane cook stove and a cast iron wooden stove from a camp in Pierce Pond Township, Wallace posted on Snapchat that he was back in his home in Fairville. After tipsters relayed the info to police, authorities showed up for the fugitive. First thing, what is the deal about broadcasting your crimes? I'm like, hey,
they do. They broadcast murders and stuff on Instagram Live and Facebook Live. These people are crazy.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm not. That's just like now I'm not married, okay, but that's like a married guy going, yeah, you know what? Let me post cheating on my wife, and then wonder how she found out. And it's filing for divorce, and so I don't know. I don't know, First Lady. Okay, but I do know that if water is splashing on you, it must be time for our favorite underwater friend. It's time for Flip It. Over to you, First Lady.
The Knicks, and that's the New York Knicks, are in 7th place in the East. Will they make the playoffs and be a tough out in the first round? Panel defend. The Knicks will finally make the playoffs after a long drought and be a tough out. Defend, Spitface.
You know what? The Knicks, they in the thick of things. They are in the thick of things. And it's been a long time since the Knicks have been in the thick of anything other than losing. Now, but they kind of bunched up. So what the Knicks have to actually worry about more so is just keep everybody healthy, and odds are they will be in. They will be in. Now, the being a tough out, they young, and if you coming in, on the bottom half, you got to play the better team. So, like the chances of them winning in the first round as a lower seed, the odds are against them. That's just how the rankings go. So the odds going to be against you. But I do think that this is a better Knicks team than we've seen in years. And the NBA is a competitive league. The really bad teams, really bad, they just don't make the playoffs to get whomped on. But everybody's competitive, and they'll be in the thick of things. That's what I'm saying, First Lady, about your Knicks.
That's about my
wait. Let me rephrase about your New York Knicks.
Okay. Well, it's Knicks Nation. We all know it's been a long time since the Knicks made the playoff. I mean, the last time the Knicks made the playoff was 2013, and they lost in the Eastern Conference semifinals. And, of course, they had Melo during that time, and unfortunately, we know what happened with that. Coat hanger, what's his name? Oh, my gosh. I don't even want to speak his name, but you know who we know. Phil Jackson. I call him the coat hanger. He just ran Melo out of town. But we're in a new era. We're in the Tibbs era, Thibodeau. He's a great coach. He's a great defensive coach, and he has brought culture back to the Knicks. Right now they are definitely in the thick of the playoffs. They're currently in 7th place, but like you said, Spitface is so bunched up there. I mean, 3 days ago the Knicks were in 4th place. They're rotating between 4th and 7th place. Now the main thing is they really want to stay out of the 7th place. They want to be either 4 through 6, okay? Because when you're in the 7th place, you got to deal with a play-in, and anything can happen in a 1-game, 2-game elimination. But the Knicks are number 1 in so many defensive categories. They're number 1 in opponent's field goal, points allowed, 3-point field goal percentage. So the fact that they're number 1 in these categories, they're a great defensive team. And when you are a great defensive team, that means you always can do well in the playoffs. So they definitely will be a tough out. They're going to make it to the playoffs. And, Knicks fans are looking forward to that day when they make it to the playoffs. And they're going to be a tough out. I can tell you that right now. Nobody wants to play the Knicks in the playoff because of their great defensive stand. All right, Spitface, but this is Flip It, Panel Defend. The Knicks are bunched up with a few other teams. The fickle finger of fate says close, but no playoff. Spitface defend.
It's about to be crunch time. And, you know, the Knicks have the right coach. They have the right coach, and it's been a long time since they had the right coach. They got a coach who's building that solid defense so that they can be competitive, and that's what they are. Unfortunately, where the big guns? You need them big guns to come in, and because there is if you got a lockdown defense, but those teams where it's like, okay, look, we locking down as much as we can, but they gonna score on you. You gotta have somebody. You gotta have a couple of players who can match that, and they just ain't there yet. And by their, right now, I think they're sitting at like 25-25, so they 500 ball. That's a slippery little slopey. Going into, for the last part of the regular season, that is a slippery, slopey, because the top teams are playing for position. You got to play against them. So that they're going to end up getting kind of hammered. So I think the fickle finger of fate is just not quite there for them this year. But Coach Tibb, they got the right coach. They are heading in the right direction. That's all I'm saying, First Lady.
All right. Well, yeah, the Knicks are definitely bunched up with several other teams there. I believe there's like 5 teams that are jockeying for position. Now, even though the Knicks are great defensively, they are the exact opposite when it comes to their offense. They just, like you said, they don't have that one player, that superstar that can win you games. Now, of course, Julius Randle has been balling this year. As a matter of fact, that's why the Knicks didn't even think he would be balling. That's why they drafted Opie Toppin, who was a power forward, because they really were planning on trading Julius Randle this year, but he has had such a great year. But the one thing the Knicks always needed, and they still haven't received, a great point guard. So that's the reason why they're just not going to get over the hump this year, because they don't have that scoring. Now, Julius Randle is good, but he can fade in the he's fading right now, as a matter of fact. He's not as good as he was in the beginning of the season. And one thing about the Knicks, they have the second most difficult schedule in the second half of the season, and they're in it right now, and they're going to be on the road most of the time. So, unfortunately, it doesn't look too good, because I just don't think the Knicks are going to get into the playoffs because of the fact they don't have a scorer, their offense is kind of shaky, and they have the second most difficult schedule. Close, but no cigar. Spitface, please take us to break.
Now, Knicks fans, how did the Knicks get the second hardest schedule? Who did they piss off at the league office, that said, yeah, we're going to give them a hard schedule at the end of the season?
James Dolan.
James Dolan. Yeah, James Dolan, he's a billionaire comedian, he's Dolan. Now, look, you need to start sending some flowers and candy to the commission, to the NFL office, So you need to start using a little savvy on them, so that you can say, hey, look, we in this together. You need to hire you an ambassador. Like you really need one of the ambassadors who done, been able to negotiate nuclear agreements, because you be blowing up stuff. All right, First Lady, on the other side of the break, we have another performance from Bassmanegg on Shout Out Part 2. Please keep your ears on those speakers and stay tuned.
You are listening to Bras Panties and Sports. It's time for Shout Out Part 2, the picks, and the finale. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout-out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right, we have another performance from Bassmanegg. DJ, let's hear Keep Rising. Keep rising.
I want to send this out to all of the brothers and sisters in the struggle. I said I want to send this out to all of my brothers and sisters that are in this struggle. Collectively get your mind together so we can keep rising to the top.
keep rising. First Lady, what's the verdict?
Oh, definitely going to shout it out. It's kind of in line with the first song, but, you had the gentleman singing, so obviously they have several different people within the group that can carry a tune, and they're very good vocalists. So I'm definitely shouting out. It was a combination of their singing and their musical performance. So great combination. Definitely shouting them out.
All right. I like they put the little steppers groove in there. So in their classic remake of Keep Rising. So I think they definitely did it justice. And so I'm giving it a shout out. All right. Now that is the end of shout out. If you liked what you heard from Bassmanegg, check them out. Adrian, that's ADRIAN, Egg, Norton.com, and on Old Grumpy Radio. If you would like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to content@oldgrumpyradio.com. First Lady, back to you.
Okay, well, it's time for the hardwood picks. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship is in full swing. All right, let's go to our results. We had two results. The first one was, March 21st, and Spitface. Both of us answered that question correctly, and so we received 50,000 points. And then the last week, the question was Arkansas versus Baylor. You had Arkansas, I had Baylor. So we know the result of that. I ended up with 150,000 points. Spitface, you had a minus 150,000 points. So far, very early in our hardball picks, we have me leading with 200,000 and Spitface with a negative 100,000. All right, so let's get to our current picks. Baylor versus Gonzaga, 250,000 for the correct answer, minus 250,000 for the incorrect answer. And Spitface, I am going with, believe it or not, I'm going with the semi-upset. I'm going with Baylor. The way I saw UCLA play Gonzaga, I think the Baylors and those three guards can bring it to Gonzaga. So I'm going to take Gonzaga. Who do you have? I'm going to take Baylor. Who do you have?
First Lady, I'm an underdog kind of guy. I'm going with them Baylor Bears.
Okay.
I'm going with them. And I will tell you one thing, my all-time favorite upset, Villanova.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Because they were definitely an underdog. But that's that's one of my favorite ones. But I'm going with the Bears. Go Baylor.
Okay. All right. It's time for our outrageous predictions. Spitface, what is your outrageous prediction?
My outrageous prediction is that the Miami Dolphins will make a trade during the middle of the season for Deshaun Watson.
Okay. Well, my outrageous prediction is the Jacksonville Jaguars will take Zach Wilson instead of Lawrence in the upcoming draft. Yeah, everybody talking about Zach Wilson. He's the real deal. Well, no, everybody forgetting about Lawrence. Okay. All right, that's my outrageous prediction. Okay, Dr. Kizmika Corbett was one of the lead scientists for the Moderna vaccination, which helped us against COVID. Now, Corbett's interest in science started from a very early age because she never knew the difference she would make. Now, the thing about Corbett, she is really inspiring so many young women out there to get involved with the STEM programs within their schools, because more and more women need to get involved with STEM, and we can see that Kazmika Corbett, very young, in her 30s, she has definitely made a big difference in the world of science. Congratulations. Shout out to the Veteran Women's and Enterprise Center, our partners in empowering women, veteran business leaders, and entrepreneurs. Please visit us at BrasPantySports.com, where you'll find the links for the latest episodes. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk and Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. Happy Easter. See you next week.